Hi folks, so we're getting ever closer now to that enticing Square Enix presentation at E3 this year, where we're hopefully going to be learning quite a bit more official information regarding the upcoming project, currently known as the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, something that we have known for quite a while is that the project is going to be split into multiple parts or episodes. Now, the details on that so far have not been forthcoming, and the last we heard about it officially was, as I say, some time ago. So, a lot of people have criticised that idea. They've seen it as kind of a cash grab or some negative form of DLC situation for the game, which obviously is going to tarnish the legacy of Final Fantasy VII if it isn't done right. Because, of course, in 1997, when Final Fantasy VII came out, it was traditional video game. One entry, an entire game, nothing to be added in later on, that was it. And of course we did get the compilation, but that wasn't part of the original release, or that came later on, the piggybacking on the success of the game. So going forward, we do know that Square are still sticking to their multi-planned release for the remake, but exactly how that's going to take place we don't know. But there have been some rumours lately and potential leaks about this situation, which is really what I want to talk about with you today. So the current situation, and again this is all rumour and speculation right now, so we'll have to find out for official information later, so take this with a grain of salt. But the current situation, as far as we know, is that the game is going to be split into two parts. Okay, so if that is the case, I think that will appease a lot of people that were just struggling with the fact that this game is going to be released over multiple phases. It's going to be a long time, many years, before you actually get to the end of it. A lot of us were thinking that that's because it was going to be taking place over 3, 4, maybe even 5 parts. But according to this new leak, that's not the case. It is only going to be taking place over 2 parts. A lot of people anticipated that the first part, however many releases this was going to take place around Midgar, which does take a fair bulk amount of the original game back on PS1 and PC, I guess. But actually, the new leak suggests that the first part is going to cover events all the way up. Spoiler alert, if that still matters. I know it's a 30-year-old or 20-year-old game at this point. But spoiler alert, the first part is allegedly going to be taking place up to the point where we lose Aerith. Okay, so her death will signify the end of the first part, and if that is true, if what this leak is saying is true, I've got to say I'm actually quite happy with that, because there's a substantial amount of content. Even though the original game is split over 3 discs, the end of disc 1 really was the halfway point of the game. Disc 3 was very short. Disc 2 and Disc 3 together probably gave us about the same amount of content as Disc 1. And I know we can't really translate that into the remake, because they're going to be bringing all sorts of other things into the game as well, from the various stories and that we've got from the additional entries in the compilation. But if that is true, as I say, if that rumour is true, if the game is going to be split only into 2 parts as opposed to more episodes, which is what we originally suspected was going to be the case, if it is only going to be 2, and if the first part is going to take place throughout the entirety of the original game's first disc, up until that point where we lose Aerith, and then everything after that will be in part 2, I'm actually quite happy with that, because there will be an opportunity just to have a ton of content in that first part, and of course a ton of content then to come in the second. And of course, with everything else that they're going to be bringing into the game that wasn't in the original Final Fantasy VII, then I think there's going to be enough there to really justify splitting this game into multiple parts. Now, if it turns out this leak isn't true and Square say, yeah, we're probably going to be stretching the story out of 3 or more parts, then each one being a full game, then I'm going to be a little bit cynical about how that's going to work, because to be honest, I think that the whole multi-part thing has been controversial anyway, so it will really help the situation if Square do announce officially that it is only going to be 2 parts. And that will be a great ending for the first part of the remake. That's such an emotional part of Final Fantasy VII, what happens with Aerith. And with Sephiroth, it really sets him up as the villain, and it really sets, even though Aerith is dying at that point, it really actually helps establish her character even more firmly into the lore of Final Fantasy VII. And of course, she still has an important role to play after that, and will no doubt be present in the second part of the remake as well, in quite an important way. But yeah, that'd be a fantastic ending, and it would really draw people, I think, into that world, especially those that haven't played the original game. Now that they've known about the remake, I know a lot of people have decided to hold off on the original so they can get to experience the story for the first time in the current generation or the next generation, as may be. But that would be just a fantastic way to draw people in to the world of Final Fantasy VII, and a lot of people then will be invested and ready for part 2. A lot of people will be hating Sephiroth, which I think is exactly what needs to be happening to really set him up as the villain. Sephiroth is definitely one of the greatest Final Fantasy villains in my view, and I really hope that they serve his character well in the remake. Talking about Sephiroth, one of the other things that the leak mentions, again, just a leak at this point, or potential leak I should say, is the fact that Sephiroth's character is not really going to be revealed until much later on in the story, which is good to know, because we did get a few images, a few video seconds of him in that last trailer at State of Play, which seemed to be taking place in the Mako reactor early in the game, and I was a little bit concerned that they're going to be introducing Sephiroth just a bit too early into the story. One of the fantastic things about the original Final Fantasy VII is there was a lot of mystery, a lot of build-up about the character before he was finally, you know, put on screen and in our faces. So I hope they get that kind of mystery, that kind of build-up in the remake as well. But according to this potential leak, this rumour, whatever you want to call it, that's exactly what they're going to be doing, which is good news as well. But that's what I wanted to share with you today, guys. Only a few more days now before we actually start getting more official information about the game. Hopefully something will be forthcoming about whether this leak on the 2 episodes is true. But please do share your thoughts in the comment section. If it is true, what do you think about the Final Fantasy VII Remake being put into only 2 episodes? We already know it's going to be episodic, but what do you think about the concept of those episodes being limited to 2 in number? Personally, as I say, I think it's a fantastic idea, and hopefully it will really draw on the legacy of the original game. But do let me know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget to be subscribed and stay subscribed if you want to see more Final Fantasy VII Remake news in the future. Thanks for stopping by today, folks. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.